Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Sunday, the 29th of July 2018, and we're providing our gold and silver weekly update for the week ending the 27th of July. Gold fell $9 last week from $1,232 to $1,223, having hit a high of $1,235 and a low of $1,218. In sterling terms, gold finished the week down £5 at £933, and in euros it closed at 1,049 euros. That's down €1 on the week. Silver fell just 2 cents, from $15.52 to $15.50, having hit a high of $15.66 and a low of $15.34. In sterling terms, it closed at £11.83. That's up 1 penny. And in euros, it closed at 13.30 euros. That's up 0.06 euros. The gold to silver ratio fell slightly from 79.38 to 1 to 78.90 to 1. The Dow Jones closed on Friday at 25,451, down 76 points on the day, but up 393 points on the week. And the NASDAQ closed at 7,737, down 114 points on the day and down 83 points on the week. Brent crude rose $1.22, from $73.07 to $74.29, and US light crude rose 43 cents, from $68.26 to $68.69. The dollar index stands at 94.66. That's up 0.19 on the week. Gold markets initially drifted lower at the start of last week, recovered midweek, drifted lower again, and then rose somewhat on Friday after the positive US GDP figures of 4.1% were announced. Whilst this was a slightly better performance in terms of slightly higher lows than the previous week, there is no doubt that gold prices are under pressure and seem headed to break through what has up until now proven quite a strong floor at $1,200. However, we must caution you. Whilst we believe that the Fed is quite determined to raise interest rates a couple more times this year, thereby strengthening the dollar and lowering the price of precious metals, we must not forget the political imperative in the United States. There are already strong rumors that President Trump is giving serious attention to a military strike in Iran, either directly or by supporting rebels. In addition, the midterm elections due in 4 months or so are beginning to show the Republicans possibly in trouble, and if they lose the House, then one can be almost certain that the Democrats will progress towards impeachment of the president. This turmoil will most certainly affect markets, the value of the dollar, and could prove quite positive for gold and silver prices. However, should these events not occur, then frankly, short term, their direction will be lower. But we are the first to admit that in a few months' time, we could be looking at either prices up to 10% lower than they are now, or 10% or more higher than they are now. Notwithstanding the fact that Mueller might indeed make either an announcement by the fall, or most certainly, in our view, further indictments, and we believe to Trump family members. There is no doubt that we have repeated for the past 2 or 3 months. It's currently all about the dollar value, and that remains so. Silver markets once again tended to follow gold almost exactly as we've predicted. That said, $15.50 is proving a strong floor, and there is some evidence now appearing that investors are beginning to buy again below this level. Once again, as with gold, our view is that a rising interest rate environment will again put downward pressure on silver prices, while potential political turmoil may indeed adversely affect the dollar and assist in the rise of precious metal prices, including silver. So what is likely to affect prices this coming week? Well, on Tuesday we have consumer spending for June, core inflation for June, and the consumer confidence index for July, so this is an important day. Wednesday we have market manufacturing PMI for July, and most important news for the week, the FOMC announcement on interest rates. Now, most economists believe that the Fed will keep rates at current levels, especially as they were raised only in June. Now, whilst we tend to agree, we would not be surprised if they added another interest rate rise in order to make clear the point that they are determined to maintain a strong US dollar. Now, although this is unlikely, it would send a very clear message to the markets. Thursday, we have the factory orders figures for June, and Friday, we have the non-farm payroll report for July and the trade deficit figures for June and the market services PMI. So this coming week, we have a plethora of financial data and announcements. So we are expecting some turbulence in precious metal prices this week. Finally, before we finish, our long-term listeners are aware that whilst we have previously commented on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, albeit rarely, we have not been particularly enthusiastic. Their recent fall in prices, however, have potentially made them attractive once again, especially in view of certain ETF developments in the pipeline. Whilst we have advocated that precious metal holdings should form between 10 to 20% of one's overall investment portfolio, we are seriously looking at diverting 2.5% of our portfolio to cryptocurrencies. Highly speculative, most certainly, but the potential gains over the next 5 years could prove quite phenomenal, and so we regard it as perhaps a somewhat better gamble than the national lottery or the local bookmaker. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on Twitter. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe as a free member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer: Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.